If you're a golfer who's looking to add speed and distance, is this the training aid for you? So the swing fan training aid has been used for golfers for a long time, and the claim always is it helps you increase your power in your swing that helps you hit the ball further. I'm going to test if this is actually the case, and I'm going to take you for a drill using force plates to see if it actually changes our ground force reactions. Okay, so I'm just going to hit 4 shots. That's just going to give me an idea on the club and ball speed. Really, the club head speed is what we're looking for. My suggestion would be trying to hit these relatively hard, so you kind of swing in at least sort of beyond a little bit past on-course speed. So now we've got some baseline data. I'm going to use the speed fan and go through a specific training drill that I use with all my clients. This is going to help us improve our ground reaction force and in turn the potential of our club head speed. I'm going to show you on the force plate specifically why this drill has a key impact on our ground reaction force that translates to club head speed. So with the fan, what I often see is golfers will swing it in their normal fashion. So they'll just swing the club or swing the fan and they'll feel like they're really off balance. So as they're here, they're being pulled off balance, they're being pulled out of position, and they feel like that is actually almost too difficult, too hard to do. But very much there's a reason for this, because most golfers from a sequence perspective and from a force production perspective is when they get to the top of their backswing, their initiation in the downswing is pulling the hands and the club down as hard as they can. So this kind of motion of trying to create speed and power through the hands. Whereas if we look at more skilled golfers, we see before the club starts to come down, we see a little bit more lower body action. So starting to produce some force from the ground up earlier and before. So this can start to generate some force to be able to then create some force into the grip and transfer that at the ball. So it's the sequence of events that gives that more opportunity. So the drill I like to use is called the Tommy Fleetwood drill. So if we look at Tommy Fleetwood's swing, we see him very much cut off in the follow through. What I'm looking to do is I'm going to swing the fan as hard as I can. So I'm still going to generate as much force and effort in that transition, but I'm going to try and feel like I stop the fan in this position. So I almost have to accelerate really hard and then learn to de-accelerate really hard. So if I do that as an example, I'll show you 2 different ones. So if this one's that's just me accelerating, you can see how I lose control. There's not a lot of movement there. And then this is me accelerating and de-accelerating. Okay, so I'm actually doing this very aggressively. And in order for me to stop here, I'm having to use my lead side to create a braking force, which is very much a vertical force motion. And I'm trying to do this as hard as I can. The harder I do, so the more force I create, the more ground reaction force that's going to happen. So that as a visual, that's how I want you to apply it. But now I'm going to show you on the force plates how that changes your ground reaction forces and timings. So the first swing, I've focused on the example we talked about at the beginning, very much where the arms generate the force. So the sequence starts from the upper body rather than that lower body. The key area we're going to look at is this yellow graph. So this is our total combined vertical force. And we see here, I'm only generating 132% of my body weight. We'd at least expect that to be over 150%. But also look how this blue line, as I'm pushing vertically through my left leg in the downswing, we've got a slight increase, but it's quite minimal, so lower than 100% of my body weight, and we see how it's quite up and down and jagged through. So I'm not really actually able to release my lower half, and then the hands and arms are really taking over. You can see how that would be quite a flippy motion. However, when we look at the Tommy Fleetwood drill, we can see a completely different graph, and the key thing is we go to those same points, look how my combined vertical force now is 183%. So this is 50% more. This is a massive amount. And look at that blue line, how that's really sharp, really aggressive. And once it peaks out, it drops straight off. And that's that vertical jump motion. So by creating this Tommy Fleetwood follow through, essentially what I've done is pushed vertically out the ground. I've essentially left the floor. And now that's allowing the lead shoulder to elevate and the right shoulder to go down. So this motion is actually giving me more side bends, more tilts in the swing, which is actually going to help me control club face as well as create more speed and force. So what I'm going to do now is take that same feeling and retest with driver and see how that might change my output. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to retest now. I'm going to try and take a similar feeling, but also understand that because of the movement drill, how my body's now activated the muscular system, the nervous system, also learnt to coordinate that pattern and that sequence, we should get a direct transfer. So we probably don't need to be super conscious here. Okay, so we'll just go with first one. I'm just going to have a practice swing just purely because swinging the fan, there's a lot of resistance there. You put a club in hand and it will feel very different. Okay, probably my best one in terms of hit, which shows probably getting warmed up and resequencing. So clubhead speed is up a little bit, but my carry there, 324 yards. Okay, and that was me probably still feeling quite controlled. I might even be able to go a little bit more aggressively now. So I've really gone at that with my lower half and it felt great. Wasn't as good a strike, but the hit was still solid. And again, so yeah, clubhead speed, 119.5, so my fastest by, good 2 miles an hour there. Big carry again, good ball speed. I'm gonna hit one more. And again, 119, nearly 120 mile an hour. So really good jumps there in a very short space of time. And now another way you can use it, so I'm just gonna, before I hit a couple more, I'm just gonna do the drill again. Because straight away, that just gives me the feeling of how I want this lower lead side to work to create the braking force, to create this motion. And this is creating that ability for the hands and arms to get dragged along, which is then going to create momentum into the club head, which is all we're looking for. We're trying to create momentum, and so the fastest thing moving is that club head at impact. That's how we use the ground to generate more force and speed. So I'm going to give this one a lot more effort, and I'm not going to worry about where it ends up. Okay, so a poor hit, don't get me wrong there, but I'm just trying that as max speed. That's like 100%er. So yeah, 121.5. So another 2 mile an hour really there. That just shows you how activating my system, feeling the right movement, we could get even more speed. Because we'd look to what is 100%, so we can then go back down to like a 90% controlled swing, and that overall speed will be up. So I hit one more, same feeling, same effort. I'm going to grip a little bit higher up the club because naturally I grip down, and see what's in the tank. Okay, 121.4 again. So I think that proves that the speed fan definitely helps you generate more speed, power and force, and hopefully it will give you a very clear understanding of how you need to utilize it for that to transfer to the golf swing. It's about ground reaction force, it's about doing the right drill. What we need to understand is how we do the drill, rather than just using the upper body, and that sequence is what's going to have the biggest impact on it actually showing up in more clubhead speed. So if you're a golfer who's looking to add that speed and distance, this is a great training tool for you. But what I'd always recommend to get the most out of your input is to always do the physical training. There's certain exercises that is going to improve those ground reaction forces that's then going to make this easier, more efficient. And if you want to know what those are, watch this video next.